Do you ever go through something that feels like it just changed you forever? Like, not just the way that you show up in the world, but in what you normally listen to, or what normally makes you happy, or what normally pisses you off, or the YouTube channels that I would normally listen to, or the books, or the writing, or the songs that I would normally listen to. Like, all of a sudden, that has completely changed because of this decision that I made this week. And now it's like I'm showing up here in no makeup. The channels and people that I normally listen to for inspiration, like I'm not gravitating towards them anymore. And I listen to them on a daily basis. And I'm not talking about just for like a few weeks or for a few months. Like, I've been listening to them for years. And it feels like everything has just shifted so drastically. And it doesn't make any sense to me, but it also feels like it was supposed to happen. Like, I'm showing up here. I'm usually showing up authentically, but like, it feels more raw and more confused. I don't mean like I'm trying to drag you guys into my confusion, or show up without a plan or without something specific to talk about. No, not at all. But I feel confused about how the shift suddenly happened, and I don't really know what to make of it. I know that I don't have to make something of it, but I'm very aware that it has happened, and it makes me very curious, like, where this is going to take me. Like, what am I going to gravitate towards now for inspiration? Like, how am I going to show up differently? Is this going to continue to just keep shifting, or am I going to settle in on something that is going to become the next phase? Or is there not going to be another phase, and it's just going to be different every day, or every hour, or every minute? This feels so unlike me. But like I said, it feels really necessary, like as if I'm being led not to stay on one thing. And that doesn't mean like just be completely without a plan or chaotic, but more like I'm living instead of planning everything. More like I'm actually experiencing instead of observing. It's so interesting to me. It's like today, my day was so different than what it has been in the past. My day has just been literally taking one step at a time. And again, that doesn't mean that there was no specific things that I had to get done, or I was just being spontaneous the whole time, but it was a different kind of living. It was like living for the sake of actually living, instead of living for a certain, like, getting something specific done. And then, like, it wasn't like a checklist, it was more like an experiential, like, wow, the world is so interesting. Like, I noticed this child sitting next to me on transit, and the way she was so determined to open a banana the way that she wanted to, even though the gentleman next to her was trying to give her tips on the right way, and she was like, no, I want to do it this way. And I just love that. And I was like, I don't know, I felt like the universe was trying to tell me, like, bring back that little girl in you that wanted to do things her own way. and not compared even to how other people do things, but compared to how I have trained myself to do things. It's like, yeah, that's what I feel like. Okay, it's like today, all of a sudden, I feel like the universe is teaching me to untrain my usual habits and completely change or rethink how I've lived all my life. It's so fascinating to me because it's like you think that you learn how to live a certain way because it's helping you and you're improving and you're learning and you're growing on top of it. But it's like today I felt the universe was saying, no, actually, some of the things that you've learned, we need to unlearn them. And we need to unlearn them for our growth. We need to unlearn them because they are not serving you anymore, and they actually have been inhibiting you from becoming who you're supposed to become. And if that means showing up on your videos in a big orange sweater, people keep telling me I look like I make them think of Charlie Brown, because there's a character on there, that Velma, who's always has a big orange sweater, and normally I wear glasses. Oh, they're right here. And she wears glasses, and she's like this kind of detective girl who like has her glasses and a little pleated skirt, short pleated skirt. And I was trying to be her actually for Halloween, because everyone tells me when I wear this orange shirt, they just call me Velma. But yeah, I forget why I got onto the topic of the orange sweater. But yeah, I'm just like, normally I would do my hair a little bit more and put on some makeup or not be sitting in such an awkward position. But actually, to me, it's not awkward. It's well, it probably looks awkward because I'm shifting around a lot. But today I unlearned some things about myself. And it was kind of fascinating to me. I was like, oh, I've been doing this all my life. What do you mean you don't want me to do this anymore, universe? And the universe was like, yeah, actually it did you good for that period of your life, but now something else needs to happen because you're going through a different stage in your life, and this stage requires you to be different than what you've been doing. And it's not a scary thing. It should be like an exciting thing, and don't be worried about it. And that's part of the unlearning, is that I have been a warrior for most of my life. A friend of mine called me a warrior the other day, but I feel, and I really appreciate that, but I don't feel very brave lately. And I've been doing some things that feel like they are the opposite of brave, like running away from things that, I thought I could handle, but in the end, I just couldn't. But it's like the universe is saying, like, this is not a mistake. It's not a backing out. It's not a cowardice. It's actually part of the plan. It's part of your growth. It's part of the unlearning. And yeah, showing, okay, so maybe that's where I came up with the big, or why I was talking about the big orange sweater. Like, normally I like to sit and put on some makeup and show up for these videos with like some semblance of, hey, I put in effort to be here, and I want you guys to feel good about who's, talking to you, and that I'm not a big orange mess. But today I am, and you know what? I think that's okay. I think that's part of the unlearning. We're human beings. We're supposed to be messy, or we can be messy, or we're allowed to be messy. And I have not allowed myself to be messy and make mistakes and be okay with my mistakes for most of my life. Like, I'm sure a lot of you guys can relate to that, but here I am feeling like this has become a heightened habit now. All of a sudden, this messiness and no makeup and like not, showing up the way that I would have liked to, but still feeling this dire desire to still show up. And that's so unlike me. It's like, I'm like, no, I have to be ready. And, in order to show up and talk and say something important. And so I'll wait. But lately, I have had no patience. I'm like, no, if I want to do it, I'm going to do it now. And it doesn't matter. And I will apologize for it later to other people and myself if it's not to other people's liking or if it's not to my own liking. But I like that I'm showing up. I like that I have turned into that kind of person because I admire people that just show up. And yeah, lately I've been wanting to show up on these videos like every day, and I'm like, that's okay. I don't need to hold back. I just can do it. It's my channel. It's my life. It's it's my choice, and I love having the freedom to do it. And I figure if people don't want to listen, you also have a choice to not listen or to not watch or to, decide whatever you want to do. And I'm hoping that it will make some of you out there decide that, hey, you want to show up whenever you want to show up as well and be really authentic and, not have to show up perfectly before you do something. And yeah, I'd love to share if any of you guys do that or have experienced that or want to do that, and what it's felt like to you, or what is it that you want to share that you might not have shared yet or before, or let me know. Thanks for listening.